Let's begin with the OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Administration. It was created in 1970 as a part of US Department of Labor with one main goal to ensure that workplaces are safe and healthful. OSHA played a crucial role in laboratory safety through a set of enforceable standards. Three of the most relevant for biomedical lab are the first, the bloodborne pathogen standard, which protect lab workers from diseases like HIV and hepatitis by requiring safe handling of human specimens. Second, the hazard communication standard, which ensure that all chemicals are properly labeled and safety data sheets are available. And the third one is the laboratory standard, which mandates a chemical hygiene plan, a written program to protect workers from hazardous chemicals in the lab. OSHA also have the authority to carry out inspection, often unannounced, and issue fines for violations. Importantly, it protects whistleblower, meaning that lab staff can report unsafe practices without fear of retaliations. So, OSHA provide both the rules and the enforcement muscle to keep the laboratory environment safe.
So you have learned about OSHA as mentioned by my colleagues before. So now, let's dig into on how to improve ergonomic conditions in diagnostic lab management.
To improve ergonomic conditions in a diagnostic lab, you need to reduce physical strain and injury risk for lab workers by designing a proper workstation, which means we need to provide an adjustable chairs and benches. It is really important to ensure that the chairs support good posture and can be adjusted in height. As we all know, people have different height. So of course, every people have different level of height that's suitable for them to do the work. Next is counter height. Counter height also really important as work surfaces should be at elbow height to avoid bending or overreaching. Overreaching could lead to muscle strain, shoulder injuries and also lower back pain. Next is equipment placement and use. As you can see in the video, the frequently used tools should be kept within easy reach to avoid repetitive stretching or twisting. Meanwhile, the less used one should be placed not more than 1 arm's length. Therefore, it is advisable also to use pipettes with ergonomic grips to reduce finger strain. As highlighted by OSHA, repetitive tasks and awkward postures are common ergonomic hazards in lab. Let's see how good work practice can improve ergonomic conditions in a diagnostic lab. First, by encourage short break. For what? To relax and stretch muscle. In a lab that involves repetitive tasks and sitting in a static posture, it will lead to muscle tension. So, to relieve built-up muscle pressure, stretching is one of the best ways to reduce the risk of strains, sprains, and overuse injuries. The second one is train the staff on proper lifting techniques to prevent back injuries due to overbending and bad posture habits.
Last but not least is safe handling and lifting. In every lab, not just diagnostic lab, use of carts and trolleys are really important to transport heavy lab materials. Also, heavy lab materials should be stored at waist level to reduce.
Next, let's look at application of OSHA in laboratory workplace. OSHA provides safety standards to prevent workplace hazard. OSHA sets and enforce standards while also providing training, outreach, education, and assistance to promote workplace safety. Let's look at real application. OSHA hazard communication standard mandates that all hazardous chemical in laboratory must be properly labeled and accompanied by safety data sheets. Employee must be trained to understand chemical label, STS, and the risk of handling such materials. Secondly is bloodborne pathogen. Staff working with blood sample must wear gloves, lab coats, and eye protection. Used sharps are disposed in puncture-resistant sharp containers and never in regular bins. Thirdly is emergency preparedness. Lab must comply with OSHA standard for emergency preparedness. These include fire extinguisher, eye wash stations, and first aid kit must be within reach. Every lab worker must know evacuation routes and emergency protocols. These precautions ensure a quick and effective response to chemical spills, fires, or exposures. Lastly is record keeping and reporting. Proper record keeping and reporting are essential part of OSHA compliance in any workplace, including laboratories. Laboratories must document all work-related injuries and illness, and they are recorded in OSHA Form 300. Training sessions and competency evaluation ensure that training translates into safety practice. OSHA encourages employers, especially in high-risk settings like laboratories, to assess whether staff can properly apply safety protocols. Lastly is inspection or audit report for compliance. Regular internal or external audit help labs identify safety gaps and maintain OSHA compliance. Documentation of this audit is a core part of OSHA record-keeping expectation.
Now let's talk about good laboratory practice that is related to the workplace ergonomics. So first of all, what is good laboratory practice or GLP? First of all, it is a quality system for non-clinical lab studies that help laboratories to do their work in a correct and reliable way. And it ensures the lab studies are planned, conducted and reportedly under one quality system. It is used in a research lab, especially when testing chemicals, medicines or diagnostic tools. In Malaysia, GLP they follow the rules from the OECD and it is managed by the National Pharmaceutical Regulatory Agencies or NPRA. So, GLP does not directly talk about ergonomics. However, it is closely related because GLP it requires the lab to work in a clean, organized and safe environment. This includes how the equipment is arranged, how the people do their tasks, and how the records are kept. All of these are connected to ergonomics, which means designing the workplace to fit the workers. For example, in GLP labs, workers may need to do the same task many times, like pipetting, using a microscope, and if the lab furnitures and tools are not designed properly, this can cause wrist pain, back pain, or even long-term injuries. So GLP, it encourages the lab to arrange the workspace in a way that it reduces body strains and also support good postures. And some common ergonomic setups include high adjustable workbench, chair with back support, anti-fatigue mats for standing, pipette that are easy to grip, and even when using a microscope, it is recommended to put it at an eye level to avoid neck pain. GLC also requires a lot of digital data entry. To make this comfortable and safe, lab use monitor stand and ergonomics keyboard to reduce eye and wrist problem. So in short, GLP and ergonomics, they support each other. GLP help lab follow safe standard procedures and ergonomics make sure that workers can do the task in a healthy and more efficient way lah. So this help reduce mistake, protect workers and keep the lab in line with OSHA safety rules.
Next, moving on to the current issues regarding ergonomics in laboratory settings. There are a lot of articles and studies showing concern regarding the increase of injuries due to ergonomics problem and repetitive strain. This poor ergonomics practice in lab increases ergonomic-related injuries such as repetitive strain injuries and musculoskeletal disorders, which include tendonitis, carpal tunnel syndrome, ruptured or herniated disc, and sprains. These conditions are increasingly common in labs due to repetitive motions such as pipetting, labeling, or data entry. These small movements, when repeated throughout the day, can place excessive strain on the wrist, hand, and shoulders. Next, prolonged static postures. These include bending over microscopes, standing for long hours, or sitting in fixed positions. Next, it is also due to poor workstation design. Lastly, it is also due to inadequate breaks, which is when lab personnel work for long periods without resting. This may lead to fatigue and overuse injuries. The increase in musculoskeletal disorders or MSD result in significant rise in hand or waist strain and neck and shoulder pain among lab workers. MSD also result in staff shortages, which leads to long shift and short time for break. Therefore, the solution to reduce and control MSD hazard as suggested by OSHA include firstly, engineering controls, which involve installing high adjustable workstations and using electronic pipettes. Next are the administrative controls. These focus on how the work is organized. For example, labs should rotate tasks to minimize repetitive strain, schedule regular breaks, and limit shift length to prevent overuse injuries. Next is training. Lab staff must be educated on proper postures, safe pipetting techniques, and encouraged to report early signs of MSD symptoms. This promotes early intervention before the symptoms becoming serious.